Yep. Well, hello everyone. My name is Cristian Valladares. I'm a senior engineer at Samsung working with smart TV applications. And today I want to talk to you about this new Samsung project to minimize overhead of smart TV application development. Write once and run everywhere with tools for smart TV. So this is the agenda of where we're seeing today in this lecture. To better understand, first of all, what is Toast, what is the challenge we're trying to solve with it, and how can we put our hands as soon as possible on this project. Well, let's begin with the challenge developers are facing right now, which is fragmentation for the smart TV platform. 2015 was an important year for the Samsung Smart TV platform, as based on a strategy of standardizing our various devices, this was the year that saw the introduction of the Tizen operating system to our new range of high-end smart TV models. However, this was also the year that developers faced a new challenge, as the introduction of this new platform came fragmenting the ecosystem of smart TV applications. So on one hand, we have our legacy OS, which can be found on models from 2012 to 2014. And on the other hand, we have our Tizen OS, which can be currently found in models from 2015 to 2016. So for deploying a new service to many users as possible, developers should make two applications, one for legacy OS and one for Tizen OS. So the question here is, why should developers make two applications? Or more to the point, why should developers support both of Samsung's smart TV platforms? Well, the answer is market fragmentation. Right now, our legacy OS currently shares over 16 million units on the market. And the expectation for our Tizen OS is to hit and surpass the 21 million units by the end of the year. So also, it's very important to note that TV sets with legacy OS cannot, and I repeat, cannot be upgraded to Tizen OS. So it is very important to not ignore this big part of the market. So, oops, sorry. So developers should, to make their content hit as much of the market share as possible, developers should support both of these platforms, which brings us to maybe the most important challenge of having two applications with the same content, which is maintenance. Us developers know that having any application involves constant maintenance and constant support. So if we have barely the same application in two different platforms, this doubles the effort and the cost. So smart TV developers need to deliver the same app experience in barely different platforms using just slightly different tools. Now, in recent years, we already encountered a similar problem to this in another popular platform, which is mobile, where developers have to deliver the same app experience in similar devices with just different operating systems. So based on that study case and the solutions for that problem, we can come across a common ground. So Samsung Smart TV platforms are based on web technologies for both legacy OS and Tizen OS, relying only on TV-specific APIs to access TV features. So as you can see over there, we have our user interface layer, which is composed of web technologies like HTML5 and CSS3. And underneath that, we have the core layer, which is where the behavior and the architecture of our application is defined, using JavaScript alongside web standards and TV-specific APIs that may differ depending on the smart TV platform we are focusing on. So as you can see, both in the user interface layer and in the core layer of our application, we have a common ground, where just a tiny little part of the structure may differ depending on the smart TV platform we're trying to build a project on. So what if we can unify that tiny little thing and make it change only when we're trying to develop for a specific platform? Well, this brings us to our solution, one source for multiple smart TV platforms. As in mobile development, we have a common experience that needs to be delivered to multiple platforms. So smart TV apps all across platforms, from Samsung to other brands, from set-top boxes to video game console apps, share mostly the same features, the same functionalities, and the same solutions. So we found very important to find a solution to this fragmentation problem. So as you can see over there, we have the base of our application right on the top, and we just need that tiny little something that helps us deliver the same app experience to all across these devices. Well, that tiny little something, it's our current project, TOS, TV-oriented API simplification for multi-platform. A very useful tool for TV web development that will enable developers to generate a multiple platform solution for all of their TV application necessities. So how does the TOS project works? Well, TOS serves as an API for smart TV applications, managing the most common features of a smart TV, like you can see over there, video, channel, system information, and network. So we can rely on the TOS API to access these TV features. And in the porting layer, we can create versions of these features for each one of the platforms we are trying to focus on. So let me show you an example. Here, we're trying to do one of the most basic things in smart TV application development, which is playing a video. So on the right side, on the left side, we have the code to accomplish this on our legacy OS, which is pretty straightforward. First, you have to get the ID of the player, then initialize the player, then get the source of the video we're trying to play, and then just start playing the video. And on the right side, we have basically the same routine, but for our Tizen platform, which is very easy to understand. We do basically the same thing, but using the web API's global object. So we get the source of the video, then prepare the player for playback, and then just call the play method. So on the bottom, we can see that we can accomplish the same thing even with fewer lines of code with our TOS plugin. So the only thing we need to do is to call the media, create an instance of the media object, then get the source of the video and just call the play method and play the video. So this is using our TOS plugin. So in the batch stage of our application, the same opposite thing is happening. As we have one code base, the lines of code that we just wrote, and depending on the platform we are trying to build on, the TOS plugin will create the necessary lines of code to accomplish that task. So as you can see, it's pretty straightforward. We have just one code base, and we can support multiple platforms with the TOS plugin. So let me show you a quick example of that task running on two smart TV sets. Can I put the video? Yeah. So as you can see here, we have, on the left side, we have our Tizen TV set, and on the right side, we have a legacy OS TV set. So we're running an example that only plays a single video. So as you can see, it's basically the same thing. We're using the same code with the TOS plugin, and we can deliver for both smart TV platforms seamlessly. All right. So this is one of the most common tasks in smart TV development, which is playing a video. And as you can see, we can access the player of the platform. We can access the TV keys of the remote control. And you can build applications like this. Right. So this is another example of the things you can do with Toast. This is actually a game we developed over there at Samsung, and it's based on web technologies using just Canvas. And we use the Toast plugin to port this application to both Legacy and Tizen. So as you can see, you can build really rich applications using the Toast plugin. This is another interesting application we developed. It's kind of like a prank application. It's called Scarybox. So the purpose of this application is to pretend the TV set is turned off. So you can control the application with the remote control and just play some scary sounds, scary videos. As you can see, those are the sounds we can play. You can configure your TV remote to play the sounds you want and some videos to scare people. So we use the Toast plugin to also port this application for both Legacy and Tizen. So if we access the full mode of the application, as you can see over there, the application, the TV set will appear to be off, and then just using the remote control keys, you can play some sounds and stuff like that, and pressing enter, you can throw a final. We use this application to scare everybody at the office, and it's very effective. So, all right, so back to the good stuff on the presentation. So as you can see, we can build any kind of application using the Toast plugin. It's very simple, it's very straightforward. So now let's get more technical with the technical specifications for the Toast project. Toast is an open source technology based on Cordova, the first to go project when it comes to support one source and multiple platforms. Being Cordova an open source project of the Apache Software Foundation and an old player when we need to talk about multiple platform support, we found it as the perfect fit to host a project like Toast is. So here in the Cordova model, we can see that we have the base of our application as a web application using web technologies, HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and then we can build for browser for testing purposes, or we can build for each one of the mobile platforms. So as you can see, we have the same user interface layer on the web view, and we access the plugin services for each one of the platforms using the Cordova.js file. So in the same kind of manner, we have the Toast project as a Cordova platform. So we also have our application as the code base of the project, and then we can build for the browser for testing purposes, which is very convenient for people that don't have any TV sets. But also we can build for both smart TV platforms. For Legacy, which there it's called Orsay. Orsay is the code name for our Legacy TV sets, or we can build for Tizen. It is very important to note over here that the plugin services, it's also inside the layer of our application. Well, this is because for both Legacy and Tizen, the plugin services are based on JavaScript. So as you can see over here, the Toast specification and the Toast plugin can get well alongside with Cordova, as they are both based on web technologies. So let's move forward to the development workflow. So this is how our development workflow will look like by using the Toast plugin. So first of all, we have to establish a development and testing environment on our PC using the browser to test applications. Then we can test our applications with each one of the SDKs for each platform. And then we just need to submit our application to the Samsung seller side for both platforms. And it is as easy as that. All right, now let's talk about Toast configuration. Right, just give me a second. So we chose Toast to be an open source project for the following strategic reasons. First of all, easy access to developers to the project. Also for contribution of external developers to make this project grow. And also the consideration of expansion to other platforms as is an open source project. Also for the technical reasons, this allows us to have prompt update and release, and also the use of public technologies like Cordova is. So here you can see the current history and the plan for the Toast project. It is very important to note that by June of this year, we will be supporting the 2012 legacy sets. By September, we will be supporting other platforms like WebOS. And by the end of the year, we're planning on checking the compatibility for 2017 sets. So, as you can see, we got most of the smart TV platforms from Samsung covered. All right, so now let's talk about the structure of the Toast project. Well, Toast is hosted on GitHub. So it consists of 4 main parts. The first one being the Cordova plugin Toast, which is the part that enables developers to access TV features. This is the part where developers get to interact with the API. This is the part that provides the TV-specific functionalities, and also is here where the global object Toast is defined, which provides the API for TV functionalities. And also it's very important to note that the Toast object is not available until after the device-ready event provided by Cordova. So this is the part where the developers get his hands dirty. And underneath that, we have the libraries of each specific smart TV platform. So here we have a library of Tizen set, which is Cordova Sec TV Tizen, and we have a library for legacy OS smart TV sets, which is Cordova Sec TV Orse. So here is where the specific lines of code to access the TV features of these platforms are defined. So besides that, we need to create the packages for our project. So underneath that, we have the grunt task to create the projects, which is the grunt Cordova Sec TV. And here is where you use the grunt task to prepare and build for this Cordova project for each one of the platforms. All right, so now that we understand how the Toast project is composed, let's talk about the most important thing, using Toast for smart TV, how to get started. All right. Before we start using Toast, we need to make sure we have installed all of these technologies. Node.js, Git, we need to have a Chrome browser, of course. We need to have the most recent Samsung Tizen SDK for Smart TV. And also, we have to install on Node.js the Cordova and the grunt model. Then, to establish the environment for Toast in Cordova, we need to generate a Git clone in the root directory with all of these repositories. The Cordova.js repository, Cordova browser, and the 4 parts of the Toast plugin we just talked about earlier. Then also with Node, we need to install the dependency models for those 4 libraries. And also, in the grunt file, we need to add the 2 platforms, the 2 new platforms we're trying to support, which is Sec TV Orse and Sec TV Tizen. Right. And also don't forget to add these 2 also platforms under the Cordova platform list. One for Legacy OS and one for Tizen. Right. So as we just see before, we need also to compile in these 2 folders, Cordova.js and also Cordova plugin tools to start and set up the development environment for the Toast plugin. All right. So after we have done all of this, we can start building for Toast. We can create an empty project, just calling the create method of the Cordova plugin, just Cordova create and the name of our empty project. Also, we have to copy some of the files from the plugin folder we have from run Cordova TV, and install all the dependencies and all the models necessary to make the Toast plugin run. We have a more complete guide of this on our Samsung D forum page under the Toast portal, so you can go over there and have like a more specific step-by-step installation process. So now that we know the basics of how to use Toast, let's create our first empty project with the Toast plugin. So can you put the other source, please? Can you put the other PC, please? So, right. So, here I have an AE folder with all of the dependencies installed. Toast. All right, and as we mentioned before, to create a project with our Toast plugin, we just need to call Cordova and the method create. Let's call it test app SDC. And it's taking too much. Right, we just created our first project, empty project using the Toast plugin. So as you can see over here, we have all the necessary things to start developing for Smart TV. But as we mentioned before, we have to install all the dependencies to start using the Toast plugin. Oh, sorry. So here at the Samsung SD forum page, we can access the GitHub page for the Toast plugin, where it has a more detailed guide of all the dependencies we need to install. So I will not be installing that right now because it will take a long time. So I already have another folder that has all the dependencies. It says app SDC ready. All right, so in this folder, I have all the dependencies installed, and we can just start building for Smart TV. So first of all, the Toast plugin is very convenient for developers because it allows us to test on a PC using a web simulator. We just need to first build a project for browser, as you can see over here, with the line Cordova, build browser. And right, and just Cordova emulate browser. So as easy as that, we can start testing our application on our web browser, which is very convenient when you're working with user interfaces, when you're testing your applications. So it's faster than testing this on a Smart TV set. Oh. What's supposed to appear something here? Let me just run it one more time. What we'll see. Oh, that's it. So as I was mentioned, this is very convenient when you are working with the user interface of your application. Before this, there at Samsung, we develop an application and constantly check the application on their TV sets. So this allows us to make that process faster, make that process faster. And well, the most important thing about the Toast plugin is to build for the smart TV platforms. So also, we can build for, let's start with the legacy OS. Yes, we can use this. So good. And with just that line of code, we can start building for our legacy TV sets. All right. And as you can see over here on the platforms folder, we have both a folder for our legacy TV sets and a folder for Tizen sets. So here we have the source code for our application based on one code base we had before. And also when we run the build command, it created, no, over here, build, it created a package ready to be installed on a legacy OS TV set. So as you can see, it is very easy to deliver application for both platforms using the Toast plugin. All right. So back to the presentation. Here is the API reference for the Toast plugin. As you can see, would support the most common features in smart TV application development, which is media, DRM, also input device, TV audio control, TV window, TV channel, the IME. We support these features mostly on the three platforms, which is browser, legacy OS, and Tizen OS, to all of those TV sets. And, well, if you want to start using Toast in your current smart TV development projects, let's talk about where you can find more information about Toast. First, we can start with our Toast wiki hosted on GitHub, where all the information on how to install, how to prepare applications, and how to start using the Toast plugin is available in full details. Also, we have a complete documentation for all the libraries used on the Toast project, as well as the API reference. Also, we have well, more information about the main parts and libraries that compose the Toast plugin project. Also, don't forget that Toast is an open source project hosted on GitHub, so every developer is welcome to contribute to this project and make the smart TV application development community grow. Try to make it faster and easier for all developers. Also, we have our Toast portal as a main feature in the home of a Samsung D forum over at Features Toast, where the most recent news about Toast will be available. And that's all for my part. Remember that we'll also have a booth over there at the Smart TV section of the SDC, so you can meet some of the developers that are involved in the Toast project, and you can ask any type of questions, technical questions, so you're welcome to visit us. And I hope you still enjoy what is left of the Samsung Developer Conference, and that's all for my part. Any questions? Yep.
How does the submission process work in this case?
Can you use the microphone, please? Yeah.
So how will the submission process work in this case? You create an ORSA version and a Tizen version, and you put those into the seller, you know, the normal app submission to go through the QA process. Yeah,
the submission process is the same as before. This is just like the technical side of that thing. So you'll need to submit for...
But do it independently as opposed to one app that can support multiple.
Yeah.
So you do that.
No, you do it each one separately.
Okay, and then a second question would be, how does Toast handle the transparency support, right? The old version, the old smart TVs use ticker apps, ticker flag. That's no longer available in 2015. 2016 is using the overlay picture-in-picture. Is it handling that, or?
Right now, we don't support ticker mode applications because of that, because on Tizen it's not supported, but we support the TV window API. So you can build like kinda like ticker applications using the TV window API. Right? Yes.
Yeah, I was noticing your packaging, the plugin layer between the kind of the native APIs that are exposed and the applications. What happens when the OS actually rolls forward and we have pre-existing applications that have already packaged the plugin layer? Mm-hmm. Do we have to keep kind of resubmitting the applications as the open source project rolls forward to map that compatibility?
If you generate a Git clone, are you thinking about that? About if another?
I'm saying like when we actually build the Cordova, the plugin's packaged with the actual app and we host that. So when we go through the submission and actually send our app out, the open source projects, I'm assuming y'all are going to maintain it and maintaining compatibility. I'm guessing we're going to have to keep rolling that in and keep everything update as our apps are going out. So there's going to be kind of the tip of that project. Like, what's the communication coming from the open source group of when that plugin's rolling forward? How do we track that in relation to the SDK updates?
Well, if you generate a Git clone, you're supposed to not get that problem. Every update is available for you. But yeah, it's recommended to like check if you have like the latest version of the Toast plugin to avoid that problem.
I see. And then basically, y'all are always going to have, as the plugin rolls forward, you're always going to maintain anybody who has prior versions and things like that, right?
Yeah.
Cool. Just curious. Thanks.
Your timeline has the Orsay plugins being developed over the next couple months. And then later in the year, other platforms. Mm-hmm. So does that mean that the Tizen plugins are already fleshed out and ready to use now?
You mean
basically the porting layer for Tizen, is that already ready to use right now?
Yeah.
It is. Okay. And then Orsay is going to be developed over the next couple months, it looks like, and fleshed out. Is that correct?
No, it's already developed. When we say other platforms, we mean platforms like WebOS. But right now, both Orsay and Tizen are supported.
Already. Okay. And then, so you kind of led into my next question. It sounds like you're going to support WebOS. What other platforms are you going to support?
Right now, we're just focusing on WebOS for September, but we intend to expand to other smart TV platforms. As I mentioned before, the smart TV platforms share mostly the same features, same functionality, so it's very easy, like to get our platforms supported on the Toast plugin project.
I see. And then, being an open source project, do you expect that potentially, other developers may get ahead of that and start building plugins out and contributing?
Yeah, that's actually the intention of this being an open source project, to get our developers involved that have like more expertise on other smart TV platforms. Yeah. So it's not only for Samsung, it's like we're trying to create a global platform for the development for smart TV.
Cool.
Yeah. Any other question? Right, so if there's not any other question, I hope you start developing smart TV applications with Toast as it is easier. So I think that's all for my part. Right, thank you very much.